Welcome to Tales from the Switch Vault, where I, Jim, look back at some of the weird and wonderful games from the Nintendo Switch. This time I rue the Star Station in Mini Metro. Created and published by New Zealand-based indie studio Dinosaur Polo Club, the title came to PC in November 2015, mobile in October 2016, and then Nintendo Switch in August 2018, billed as a puzzle game that made use of both the Joy-Cons and touchscreen when targeting tube groups in the maps. The gameplay seems simple enough. You link metro lines across stations on a map to get passages around. Each station is a shape, and there will be corresponding passages of each shape wanted to get to that destination. Starting off with just 3 terminals on the map, and 3 lines you can use to link up by dragging across them, a train will automatically be added going in one direction. It will pick up a maximum of 6 passengers and drop them off at the next available correct station. Whilst playing, you can pause or speed up the gameplay, with the game running on a weekly basis, at the end of which you get access to new items such as tube lines, carriages or tunnels. These are all integral as time goes by. The map will slowly zoom out, adding new stations. This means constant vigilance to connect these to the existing structures you have in place. Fortunately, the routes you make are not locked in place, so you can be rerun once you see fit, once the train has passed through that area first though. If all this sounds easy, it's really not. There's a game over state, and this starts when one station has a line of passengers and a timer starts ticking down. Fail to clear this and you fail the mission, meaning you have to start over again from scratch. You do get to see how many passengers travelled and how many days you actually managed to go for, which is great for going on the scoreboard. Once you actually hit a certain number, it will actually open up more maps in the levels. The thing that really struck me when playing this was how the game seems to be out to get you. Sure, the stations can spring up anywhere and don't move, but they can actually change shape. It's almost like you're cruising along and it just wants to throw a spanner at you. Sure, that triangle station is pretty innocuous, but now it's a star and there's shapes from 3 other lines at the other end of the map that need to get there. It's wild in moments like these. One aspect I like and loathe are the metro lines themselves. Once you connect 2 stations with a route, the line will be automatically created. This is great for a quick, easy response, but can actually get you pretty bogged down, particularly if you clip a river when you'd ideally like to loop around it. Rivers require tunnels, which you have a limited amount to use. You use 2 on a loop line, which hurts. It means you can't have another line cross over it. You can also over-engineer a route, amending a line and having it looping around a station in a figure of 8, which is hugely inefficient. Remember, it's not just getting the passengers there, but getting them there as quick as possible. It's inspiring to see something as iconic as Harry Beck's London tube map and be turned faithfully and ingeniously into a game. It doesn't feel like ripping it off, but a loving ode to it. Considering this game was created after a trip to London and using the underground, it makes total sense. Even without the classic station names and coloured zones, each level still looks amazing as it zooms out. It's brilliant minimalist design. Not only do the levels move around the world, using the iconic designs from other cities, but they go back and pull out classic ones from the past as well. They even made one up for Wellington as well, which is really cool. I really like the UI design. Simple inputs in the D-pad get you instantly through menus and into levels. They seem to keep adding to the game as well, as I just noticed the coolest looking graphs for levels, as well as video playback. The game's audio was created by Richard Vreeland, an American composer and musician, better known as Disaster Piece. He was approached to help on sounds in-game, and would end up creating a procedural audio system that generates sounds based on your actions and those of the transit system you just created. Both the size and shape affect this. It's all very soothing. Even at the height of a stressful disaster, the pings of new stations appearing are still audibly very pleasing. The game's hook is just how many different options and modes there are to keep you playing. There are 34 cities to play through, each with their own challenges and designs, though many need to be unlocked by hitting a certain number of passengers, which is actually pretty achievable in a couple of attempts. Each map has 3 challenges, such as using only 1 tunnel with 1,000 people delivered. It livens up the modes once you've mastered the basics. And in my favourite part were the online leaderboard, and in particular your friend scores listed, that turns this into an excellent high score chasing game. Shoutouts to my sister V, who I spent many a week battling on high scores. There are also extreme mode, which makes tracks permanent, endless, in which stations don't overcrowd and you can maximise efficiency, or the creative mode, in which you can place and edit stations. There's also daily challenges to compete with one-shot attempts against others. I can't really think of another game that starts so chill and gets so stressful, during which you can rip up everything you've created just to get a bit further. Initially, efficiency seems really easy. Straight line through 3 stations, but then they add one over the river, so you add a new line. But do you double up on the other stations? As the train can only carry 6 passengers, and they will only get there if it's going in the right direction. Do you choose clockwise or not? Usually even a particularly messy plan will carry you through a decent way though. So you go again, and this time you have a multitude of questions and options. Do you just start with a straight line or a single loop? Which stations do you double up on? What to do with that circle way out to the east? You can cut out certain stations, but when the lines cross outside stations, the trains will slow down considerably. All of this as the timer ticks down, and now there's 2 lines of stuck passengers. As expected, it runs well on Switch 2. It's not a massively taxing game, though I did have leaderboard issues with some failing to load. That well could be to do with my save or network mind. I am hoping we actually eventually see Joy-Con mouse support, because it would be ideal for this title. How long to beat has the game completed? In about 6 hours, which seems a tad quick with all the content. I hit 10 hours and still had a lot to do. If the formula clicks, it will really suck you in. A classic, one more time kind of a game. It's been well supported over the years, with new maps for London, Paris and New York added from different eras in the past, for its 10th year miniversary. Dinosaur Polo Club was formed in Wellington, New Zealand in 2013 by 2 brothers, Peter and Robert Curry. Both had worked at games company City, now known as Pickpock, but left to make their own games. Following several abandoned projects, they set about creating a limited scope and able to actually finish a game. To get a prototype up and running, they decided on minimal art and audio, neither of which the pair had very much experience in, and to not have to actually create every single level in the game. These extreme limitations actually bore great fruit, meaning they could concentrate on procedurally generated levels and abstract art styles. Initially called Mind the Gap, it was prototyped over a weekend with a web browser version created in Unity to allow more people to access the game. It was entered into the London Dare Game Jam and was ranked first for innovation. After creating an alpha, they added the game to Steam Greenlight and intended release by the end of 2013, but several delays due to a graphical overhaul and balancing issues mean it took far longer. Eventually they would get the game into Steam Early Access, in part as there was no story to spoil and they could get feedback from fans as development went on. They would hire external help for the art and audio and finally release the title in 2015. The studio's headcount would grow significantly over the years and eventually producing the sequel Mini Motorways. Following this, there was meant to be a departure into a new title, Magic School, which was sadly scrapped in 2024 as the studio couldn't make good on its plans without massively and recklessly expanding. From now, the studio is going back to the mini-series, so let's see what they can come up with. Mini Metro was nominated for a lot of awards, including Debut Game at BAFTA and GDC, but won Excellence in Audio at the Independent Games Festival. Sitting at an impressive 86 on Metacritic, the title has sold over 1.4 million copies across all platforms as of 2018. I cannot gush enough about how good this game is. For those with any interest in puzzle games, it's well worth a go, particularly on tablet. It's so satisfying creating and linking routes with the finger. The Switch controls are good enough, and it's an ideal time killer in a commute or the like. In fact, I'd forgot I had another 10 hours on PC, so that makes 20 in total. It's up there with Balatro for me as an easy title to dive back into sporadically. It's so good. Still, I have criticisms. The leaderboards were taking a long time to load when I'm currently playing. I actually also lost all my saves due to a cloud save issue, most likely my own fault when swapping out consoles at one point or another, but a bit frustrating. I haven't heard of anyone else having this issue. It can also be tricky to experiment with late game strategies. You can attempt something and then lose in seconds. A little bit annoying, but that's what it is. I have had fun with Mini Motorway, but probably prefer Metro. Granted, I do live in London, and I hope they come up with some kind of airplane version for the next title, though I trust it will be good. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe for more weekly Nintendo Switch video game essays. Right, let's see if you can beat my New York score 1125.